because I don't know about you, but we sit and we contemplate and we want to know God, and we bargain. We make a lot of promises, and when push comes to shove, I believe it says you can't get the camel through the eye of a needle. We do have to let go of a lot of things, but our possessions aren't one of them. That's what made me laugh, because if you arrived at a center like this, then you have had a lot of experiences, and you want to know God in a new way, in a more profound way. And so guess what? You don't have to leave all your possessions behind. Actually, it's God's good pleasure for you to have all those possessions, as long as those possessions aren't taking place of your practice to commune with your heart. And so I just thought that was hilarious, and I hope you took it with a grain of salt. It does go into our talk title today, which is "The Crisis is Over." They ended their own crisis. They ran out and... but I wanted to talk about crisis, certainty, and abundance. And as your senior minister, I am here to talk to you about a few things today. And this is why that song was so beautiful. But the message that I want to deliver to you today is that everything's okay. The crisis is over because there never really was a crisis. The crisis is the story you make up about what's going on in your mind. And we all have those things. This is why this song was so beautiful, because when I think about those things, my mind, Tracey, doesn't want to be alone. She doesn't want to be forgotten. She wants to have a whole community with her as she moves through whatever pain or suffering her mind perceives. And this, on the traveling to the road of getting to know that divine intelligence as yourself, it can be very painful, because a lot of realizations have to come forth. But when you step in to that divine commune, the things must fall away that you are attached to. The video, right? They're attached to a lot of things. And so as our attachments fall away, we recognize that we can still have them, but they don't mean or have the same value. And when things happen, we get to look at the thing that happened as a falling away and a renewal or resurrection of a new idea. This center, I am certain, is God's good idea. And you are the center, so therefore you are good and God's new idea. And as we let these things fall away, and in the discovery of things as taking over as senior minister, one of the things that we discovered was that the finances weren't quite the way we had hoped that they would be. And that's okay, because what has to come to light in order for God's new idea to take birth is these things must come up and out, and we have to look at them as gifts to show us, we need to do a little work there. We need to open up this idea and invite the community into the prosperity of the center. And when they first come up, I don't know about you, because I'm a realist, fear strikes. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Where are we going to get it from? How are we going to do it? And then as you start to commune with the divine, a little space is created between the situation and the idea, and you're able to stop and pause, breathe, and command that divine intelligence that you created this. You brought this forth from your good idea, and many people have come before us to make this so. So now we know and invite that creator, divine intelligence, the isness of the universe, to birth a new idea. And in that birthing, one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about in the discovery is, COVID hit everybody really hard. You had the exit of a senior minister. We had folks that gave rather largely move or transition, and these things took a toll on our finances. But the good news is the crisis is over, because one, there was no crisis, but if we're going to look at it from that perspective, we've discovered and put a plan into place to renew that idea of prosperity within our center. And I know early on in December, we did some cost cutting, and we weren't really super, we didn't really take the time to explain a lot then, because I was certain that I wanted to investigate everything before I stood up here and talked to you with certainty that I knew in my heart and in my mind as a leader that we are good. And Tom reminds me all the time that we are good. And he is a support and a collaborator, and the board, they care so deeply about this community. And we wanted to deliver this to you in a positive, moving forward kind of way. So what have we done? We have hired a new bookkeeper. Her name is Trudy. She's from Colorado, or she lives in Colorado. She manages the books of 11 CSLs. She has 30 years of experience. She is a feisty gal, and she has taken really good care of us and got us on our A game. She has suggested a lot of ideas to save us money. We hired a new minister, so there's no gap in oversight. And, you know, I don't think it's a coincidence that I had 30 years in banking and finance, and that this came up, and that I knew how to deal with these things as they came up and to get things in place. And the last thing is, there's love here. Love heals everything. Love is the heart opening, and love is the birthing of a new idea, the resurrection and the implementation of conscious giving. I did a lot of reading, a lot of contemplating, hence probably the tears as well, that I wanted to acknowledge that our challenges are here, but embracing certainty is the answer. We need to be certain in the Creator, the divine intelligence, the universal spirit is. That is the philosophy and the basis of our teaching. To recognize that the issue that comes up in our human experience, and there's a lot of them, they come up all the time, every day. It's like playing guacamole. This one, this one, this one, this one. And you know, they never stop, really. But how we meet them changes. When we recognize that the Creator, the isness, puts these challenges in front of us so that we, and I would like to just stop and take a moment. The Creator, the isness, the divine intelligence is you, and your higher self is always inviting you deeper on the path. And if you were skipping down the yellow brick road and picking daisies and there were no challenges, you really wouldn't have to look, right? But that doesn't mean that life cannot be skipping down the yellow brick road picking daisies. It absolutely can be, because you have a renewal and a transformation of your mind. And this is really, to me, what Easter is about, is looking at your challenges, deciding how you're going to meet them, your mental attitude, and looking at it with transparency, reality, authenticity, and just looking at this situation, putting it in front of you, and letting the divine intelligence that we are most certain about bring the answers that we need, because the answers are already here, right? So when I say bring them, I mean we clear the space through our mental clarity for that divine inspired idea to take root and to birth itself. We are the isness. We are the Creator. We are the divine intelligence. And it is always in support of itself, so it doesn't leave you out. What leaves you out is your little mind that creates all of the problems to begin with. And as you study more, move down the road, you're not moving down the road. I love all these words show us action, right? Because our mind, I have to do something. Something needs to be done here. I got to move my feet. And you do after clarity comes, after the divine inspired idea comes. And because we are a community, we co-own this community. We are invested together in this community. We are invested in the success and the birthing of a new idea in a new way, in a highly energetic and magnetizing idea. And I don't think that I got as clear as I did from as many things as I read about how to deliver this talk and plant a new seed, a new idea, a positive movement. And what became very clear to me is certainty. How certain are you in the creative process, in the divine idea, the creator? How certain are you that you play into every success within your own life, because then it flows out and over and into this life, the community? How certain are you in the givingness of your gifts, whether it be time, talent, treasure, finances? And today we're highlighting finances, but how certain are you when you put that check into the basket or through your auto pay? How certain are you when you release it that it is giving and not taking? Taking is when the mind goes, I got to do this because I'm going to get something back. And then we sit and we go, where is it? Tracey said it was coming. Tracey said if I gave $10, I would get 100. Yes, Tracey did say that. But you also have to have certainty of the isness, that it is you giving all the time, and it cannot not give to itself. So therefore, it cannot give back to you in return. And when you trust with divine faith, holy trust in the isness, the creator, that when you drop that gift, when you find someone that needs what you desire and you help them get it, you then get it back tenfold. And we love our community. We offer gifts. We have deep value. The value we have. Think about what you get here. Think about the community. Think about the friendships and how that deserves that $10 that you might spend at Starbucks, because I'm guilty. I'm guilty. But I want to tell you how the isness works. I was in the office and I was digging through my mailbox because I forget that I have a mailbox. And out comes this little card. I brought it. This little card. My friend Beverly and I went to ministerial school together. Well, Beverly started first, and she called me and she goes, we became practitioners together. And she's like, I'm in ministerial school. When are you coming? And I'm like, oh, heck no, you can't go without me. I'm way better. This is our joke. And I go, my spirit, the isness, used Tracey's competition to get me into ministerial school and to set myself out on a path that I was no way prepared for. But that's the isness, right? That when we walk into that new mystery, we don't know how it's going to happen. We have certainty that it will happen. And I met a couple teachers that replicated my thought process about myself and my ability to finish. Those teachers popped up, but I also learned when those teachers popped up, my ability to stand in authenticity, my ability to stand in my own power, my ability to move and to have conversations. And also, I discovered I have dyslexia. I didn't. I had a lot of trouble in school. So it opened up this door of such beauty and forgiveness for myself, because I beat myself up for a lot for those days when I was young. And when I discovered this and realized it wasn't my fault, which is what the Creator is saying, the divine intelligence, the universal isness is telling you it's not your fault, that life happens and we are all subject to it. But that beautiful, magnificent Creator that is all of us is always shining through, will never leave you, and brings you exactly what you need to bring you home to yourself. So back to this card. My friend Beverly, this card was dated February 29th. It was stuck in there. And I do want to acknowledge that she works for Central Spiritual Living East Hawaii. That was the other thing too. I'm like, come on, you got a job in Hawaii? And the day that when we signed up for practicing, she's like, I'm going to be a minister in Hawaii. I'm like, she's like, I'm going to be a minister in Hawaii. And she manifested this. I am telling you, I was like, I'm never going to be able to do that. How did you do that? And she's like, come on, Tracey. Yes, you will. And then I learned from her, and here I am from the isness, and also my hard work, as Tom reminds me, my hard work. But they sent us a $300 tithe. Now, this came in February, and I dug it out of my mailbox, and I'm like, why didn't anybody tell me about this? But here's the on-time part. Our talk today is about surprises and gifts and love. And here it is, $300, unexpected income showing up. And how wonderful is that? And we really want to thank them. They said, please accept this donation to show our appreciation from the Leadership Council of the Centers of Spiritual Living East Hawaii. Your sanctuary was instrumental in growing our minister, Reverend Beverly, and Beverly Strutt, and she has spoken so highly of you. We hope that you know how much we appreciate you and how much your investment in our new minister has benefited our community. Isn't that wonderful? The isness, the creator, that is love. Right on time. At first I was a little fussy. I was like, how come nobody told me about this? This was stuck in my box. And then the little mental inertia calmed down and I heard, right on time, Tracey, right on time. Everything is right on time, and I can say that with divine certainty, that everything is right on time. We also had a blessing yesterday, these last couple of days. We had a garage sale, and that unfolded, and Lee did a phenomenal job. Now, Lee didn't do it on his own, but he did a great job. And we had lots of you show up as a community, the isness, always right on time, then put your time, talents, and treasures, and we walked away with $2,500, right? And events are a great way to raise income, but a better way to raise income is to have events and invite people and then ask them to support our birthing of a new resurrection, God's good idea, which is Prescott Centers for Spiritual Living. I am so excited to stand up here and just know that the release of this, that giving this out now in going into meditation and speaking with the leadership and really deepening our personal trust and certainty in the isness, that this was the time for us to reveal this to you. And the path to recovery is, well, I'm going to change that, because there's no recovery, because there's no crisis, because the answer is already there. And you are the answer. I am the answer. The Creator, often we wait for answers to show up. And I have, in my daily scrolling of looking for information to share with you, I discovered this gentleman called David. His name is David. Guillaume, thank you. And he is a master teacher of the Kabbalah. And I've heard a lot about the Kabbalah, but my brain can take information in little pieces at a time. And this video came up, and he talked about waiting. And he said, when your mind sets out upon waiting, you are creating a future that doesn't exist. The isness is now. The answer is now. Everything is right now. And as we start to learn, as our mind kind of wanders off into the future, and how's this going to go, and how's it going to fix, and who's going to show up, and where's the money going to come from? Well, this is how it works. When we practice the presence, and we sit in the presence with certainty and confidence and knowing everything we need just shows up, or an idea comes with a divine inspired action. Jackson has had these wonderful concerts, which has provided us. We have a beautiful tithing base, but really what we want to invite you into is a conscious partnership, a collaboration of conscious giving to really challenge yourself, because giving is a gift to yourself. Those dollars do help us deliver things like this to you, classes, events, a building, electricity, and all those things you already know about. But it also builds our balance sheet so that so our little minds can rest comfort of the givingness of the universe. And you are one way, one source. The source of all, of course, is the Creator, the divine intelligence. And it does flow through you because it is the givingness. And so we are so grateful that our center is growing and changing. And I know some of those things can be quite uncomfortable, but I promise you, I am certain that the changes we're making are going to magnetize. They are God's beautiful idea from the higher self. And I invite you, if you have some yourself, because it's just not me and the board and the leadership and the practitioners. All of you are God. All of you are a great idea. All of you can bring forth and birth this center in a new way, in a prosperous way. So we want to talk about, I'm going to read you this quote by Ernest Holmes because it really seeded for me a new idea. And then Clay, can you put up that slide and we'll go over those. Ernest Holmes says that we need to know with scientific certainty that there is a consciousness and a power in the universe that responds to us directly, definitely, and dynamically. This quote, it emphasizes the importance of having a firm belief in the responsiveness of the universe to our thoughts and our actions. That's it. That's the teaching right there. Certainty. I know when I started here, I set up my tithe. I set it up early as a way to show the universe I'm ready to go. I set it up in August, didn't get hired till October. Well, then I forgot. And so then when I was hired, I'm like, oh, I have to set up my tithe. I set up my tithe, which I would really encourage you to use Breeze. It's magnificent. You set it and forget it. It's really lovely. And here's the lesson in that. I set my first tithe up, and then I set my second tithe up, and then one day I was like, I should look at my bank balance. And I go to look at it, and I'm like, and I think I called Suja or Nancy. I'm like, why is my tithe coming out twice? And for months, I was paying double the tithe, didn't even know it because I was taken care of. And that is the isness of the universe, right? That forgetfulness, that if I was watching it, I'd be like, ooh, I got to move this dollar here and I got to move that dollar there. So for me personally, it was a huge lesson in letting go and letting God and letting the blessings flow. And so then I adjusted it to be a semblance of the two in a comfort zone. Once my mind got a hold of it, I had to make it a little bit more comfortable. But here, these beautiful mantras are going to keep your mind in the isness when that uncertainty comes. And believe me, it does until you are seated so firmly. And I know Hazel is seated firmly. Okay, that talk she gave, I was blown away. It was magnificent. So if you don't want to read the mantras, call your practitioners. But Hazel, man, she is seated in business with 100% certainty. So I keep looking for the screen. We have a TV. So these three mantras were from David Guyam on the video with the lessons of waiting. And that when your mind wants to wait, these three mantras are going to take you right into the present moment. So we're going to read those and then we will wrap the talk up, okay? So let's read these together. Everything I desire, I already have right now. It exists right now. There is nothing I need to wait for. It is here now, and I align with it. Out loud. And you will get copies of these, and I invite you to put it on your refrigerator, your car. I don't know, my daughter writes it in lipstick on her mirror. Whatever you got to do, but saying it out loud gets it from here, and your aura picks up these magnetic energies, and it vibrates. And by the way, when you speak it, the ethers have a consciousness too. The molecules have a consciousness, and they pick up your good idea, your positive attitude, and the universal language of the the language of the universe. I'm so excited. The language of the universe is feeling good. Did we get the next one? Feeling good. Feeling like you already have it. I feel redemption looks like. I feel it. Right now. So when we don't feel it, we got to work ourselves up. I know the Hicks talk about going up the vibration scale, but the energy and the language of the universe is feeling what you desire so deeply that it causes you to break out in spontaneous bliss. And it says, hey, she's ready. And it gives you more because you've opened a door in your consciousness to receive. Last one. Let's go. Let's go. Firm. I know. Your entire life, you've been waiting, not for things, but it's part of the fun, isn't it? We are here to have fun. My mentor, Reverend Cheryl, says, not on my mountain. You cannot come on my mountain with negativity. You cannot come on my mountain if you don't want to play. You cannot come on my mountain if you don't want to give me a hug. And you can stay on your mountain because it has nothing to do with mine. But we need to be in charge of our own mountains, our own life, our own vibration, our own destiny. And these words will vibrate that out into the universe that you will see. I encourage you to journal, to speak it out loud, to phone a friend. Because when it gets out of here into here, you charge it, your aura attracts it, and we all benefit from it. We all benefit from it. And this is the exciting news. This is the exciting news that I can tell you with certainty that it works because it has worked in my life time and time again. And I'm all about experiences. I can tell you all day long. I can have you read those all day long. But if you're not a willing participant with the Creator, if you don't want to do it, if you don't take charge of it, then you can't experience it and you won't really know it. It'll always just be someone else's good idea. And for me, when it was someone else's good idea, I was a little jealous. So that competitive nature kicked in, and that's why I have so many teachers, because I want to know. I was trying to take the shortcut. There aren't any. You got to put the work in terms of dedication to your own salvation, because no one's coming to save you but you. That is what Easter is about. And I know that we, with the power of certainty, we're moving forward. And here we go. Moving forward. And we won't be swayed. So I'm just going to seat this really quickly for you, that I know that this center is a thriving, bustling idea of spirit, that we come here to gather in community. We come here for love, with divine intelligence draws us here so that we may take that path forward, so that we learn the divine principles that enhance our lives, that shows us the way to that desire, that brings us all of the things that we need. And Spirit is always providing you everything that you need. And so that's where gratitude comes in. We wake up in the morning and we say, thank you. Thank you, God. Thank you, life. Thank you, thank you, thank you for this presence, this isness, this mystery that we are all wanting to know so deeply that our hearts explode and open with bliss and the givingness of nature, of love, of life. That if you or any of your friends or family are going through a difficult time, just know that part of you can overcome everything, that part of you, it will never leave you. It is the certainty of life in any difficult situation. I call this in knowing the perfection of the Creator, the perfection of the divine intelligence, the perfection of you, each and every one of you, that opens my heart and makes me smile and just fulfills my life in the deepest way, that I offer that gift of love from me, the Creator, in me, to you. And with this, I release this into the abundance grace of God, of love, of life, whatever you call it. It is now. It is you, and so it is.